All right, so as always, I am extremely exhausted, and yeah, tomorrow I'm flying home, so that will be nice. But until then, I'm very tired and am solving coding problems. I hope. Hopefully, this one doesn't take long, so I can go to bed and sleep. So let's see what it is. So you ponder the solitude of space, the ever-increasing 3-hour round trip for messages between you and Earth. You notice that space mail indicator light is blinking to help keep you sane. They also sent you a care package. It's a new game for the ship's arcade cabinet. Unfortunately, the arcade is all the way in the ship, so it will be hard to build your own. Care Magic runs intcode software like the game you're all sent. Your puzzle input is a primitive screen capable of drawing square tiles on a grid. The software draws tiles to the screen with output instructions. Every 3 output instructions specify the X position, Y position, and tile ID. The tile ID is interpreted as follows. X is an empty tile. 1 is a wall tile. Walls are indestructible barrels. 2 is a block tile. 3 is a horizontal paddle tile. 4 is a ball tile. For example, sequence of output values like 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4 would draw a horizontal paddle tile, 1 tile from the left, and 2 tiles from the top, and a ball tile, 6 tiles from the left, and 5 tiles from the top. Start the game. How many block titles are on the screen when the game exits? So let's get going, and we need int code. When did the last time we used int code? Was it day 11? Yes, so let us copy our int code computer from day 11 and go from there. Okay, and so the tile ID is interpreted. So class tile is going to be an enum, and we're going to say empty equals 0, wall equals 1, block equals 2, paddle equals 3, ball equals 4. Okay, so that's fine. And so let's say def run program, and it is going to not take any inputs, I don't think. Okay, so let's copy this, and let's see, day 13.text, paste, save. So let's say with open day 13.text as f, program equals int n for n in f.read.strip.split on commas. So that's the program. Okay. And now we want to run the program, and so let me just do very slavishly what they want me to do. They want me to count blocks. So def count blocks, program, which is a program, and it's going to return an int. And let's say how many block tiles are on the screen. So screen equals this, and is going to be a dict where the keys are tuple int, and the values are tile. And what I want to do is try while true, and I need to do computer equals intcode computer program. So try while true pass. I'll go back and do that in a second. Except end program. And then if we want to end program, we want to return len tile for tile in screen.values if tile equals tile.block. So we want to return the number of, okay. So now what we want to do is we want to say while true, x equals computer. And I think that was the API, is that right? It has a call. And I can give it some values, right? X equals computer, y equals computer, and tile equals tile computer, and then what do I want to do? I want to say screen xy equals tile. And I think that's all I want to do. And now what I want to do is print count. Well, so first let's assert that count blocks of this guy equals 0, and assert that and what is a block? A block is 2. So if I do this, that should be 1, and if I do 1, 2, 2, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, that should be 0 because I overwrote it. And the other thing I want to do is that I forgot, if tile equals tile.empty, I actually want to delete screen xy. I meant to do that. Otherwise, I'll set it. So that way my thing doesn't get too big. Should be else. Okay, so let's run day13.py and oh, whoops, those aren't programs, those are outputs. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's just print count blocks program. What is this? Key error 11. All right, you know what? I'm just going to undo this and try it this way. Sorry, I got confused by that other thing. 233. So let's try it. That's the right answer. Continue to part 2. The game didn't run as you didn't put any quarters. Unfortunately, you did not bring any quarters. Memory address 0 represents the number of quarters that have been inserted. Set it to 2 to play for free. The arcade cabinet has a joystick that can move left and right. The software reads the position of the joystick with input instructions. If the joystick is in neutral position, right 0. Joystick is tilted left, right -1. The arcade cabinet also has a segment display capable of showing a single number that represents the player's current score. When 3 output instructions specify x equals -1, y equals 0, that output instruction is on a tile, it says a new score. Beat the game by breaking all the blocks. What is your score after the last block is broken? Arcade cabinet, joystick. The arcade cabinet has a segment display capable of showing a single number that represents the player's current score. When 3 output instructions specify that third output instruction is not a tile, the value instead specifies the new score to show in the segment display. For example, a sequence of output values like -1, Beat the game by breaking all the blocks. What is your score after the last block is broken? So I don't quite understand what this is asking. So, fortunately, you did not bring any. Address represents no quarter set to 2 to play for free. Okay, the game has a joystick. Software reads the position of the joystick with input instructions. If the joystick is okay, so give it inputs. Also has a segment display. What is a segment display? Capable of showing a single number versus player's score. When 3 output instructions specify this, for example, a sequence of output values would show this. Beat the game by breaking all the blocks. What? I don't understand what it's asking. Let me go see if anybody's saying anything. Nope, no one's saying anything. All right, that's fine. Let me read it from the top. New game, the arcade trailer. We heard to build your own liquor package. Arcade cabinet runs intcode software like the game the elf sent. It has a primitive screen capable of drawing square tiles on a grid. The software draws tiles to the screen with output instructions. Every 3 output instructions specify the X position, Y position, and tile ID. The tile ID is interpreted as follows. 0 is an empty tile. No game object appears in this tile. 1 is a wall tile. Walls are indestructible barriers. 1 is a block tile. For example, a sequence of output values would draw a horizontal paddle tile from the left and a ball tile. Start the game. How many block tiles are on the screen when the game exits? Okay. So, I don't really understand this still, but that's all right, because it's not like I'm exhausted. So let me change this and say return screen, and screen equals count block. It's not really count blocks program. So let me run this. Okay, def draw screen, which is a dict from tuple int to int to tile none, and it looks like it's goes from, let's just say x min equals min x for xy in screen, x max equals max x for xy in screen, y min equals min y for xy in screen, and y max equals max y for xy. I feel like I did something similar to this the other day, but that's okay. So for y in range, y min, y max plus 1, and def, let's call this show tile to string, and if tile equals tile dot ball, so the ball will look like this. If tile equals tile dot block, the block will look like, let's call it, that's fine. Otherwise, if tile equals tile dot empty, that'll look like that. Otherwise, if tile equals tile equals tile dot paddle, and the paddle will look like, what's a good thing for a paddle? We'll make it an at, and otherwise if tile equals tile dot wall, and then a wall will look like X. So I still don't like this paddle. I'm going to make maybe this, and a block will be that. Yeah, that seems better. Okay, row equals show screen dot get x xy tile dot empty for x in range x min x max plus 1 and then print are you serious? Didn't I already use dict somehow? I thought. How could it not be defined? X for XY screen, X for XY and screen. So that seems fine for Y in this. Row equals show else raise runtime error bad tile. Let's try that. Show screen. Well, that's not good. Bad tile. Maybe that's the issue. Nope. Why is this not working? Oh. Okay, I think I get it. So I don't need to show it. What I want to do is I want to play Breakout. And the way I'm going to play Breakout is if the ball is to the left of the paddle, I'll move the paddle to the left. And if the ball is to the right of the paddle, I'll move the paddle to the right. So, let me do this. Def play Breakout. And so what I need to do is I need to, I don't even care about the screen, but that's fine. Score equals 0. And I want to, again, set program 0 equals 2, which I think they told me to do, right? Set it to 2 to play for free. And then we have a joystick. And the arcade is a joystick that moves left and right. The software reads the position of the joystick. The arcade cabinet has a segment display. Okay. And so this is the part I don't quite get is ball location equals, let's actually say ball x equals none and paddle x equals none. And so what I want to do is I want to say tile equals tile. If ball x is none or paddle x is none, input value equals 0. And let's say x equals computer input value. I still don't understand how intcode computers work, which is part of the problem. And I don't really need the screen, but I'll keep it for debugging purposes, maybe. So if tile equals tile.ball, ball x equals x. Otherwise, if tile equals tile.paddle, paddle x equals x. And then the other thing I want to do is if x equals -1 and y equals 0, then score equals computer, which I think is what they said. Otherwise, tile equals this. This is okay. So this is all right. And now let's input value is 0. Otherwise, if ball x is, or actually let me do this. If paddle x is less than ball x, then input value equals 1. So we want to move paddle to the right. Otherwise, if ball x is less than paddle x, input value equals -1, and then otherwise input value equals 0. So now I do this, I call the computer, and now accept and program return score. So play breakouts. And so while I do that, why don't I draw screen, print score, print ball x, print paddle x, and then let's do print input value. So and actually, what did it even spend time doing? Like, I don't even know why it took a long time because it shouldn't be doing any work. Oh, because it's doing that. And so what I want to do is I want to print play breakout program. So let's see if that works. Min arg is an empty sequence. Okay, so this is if not screen, return. So well, that was interesting. Let me what is this? So let's try this one more time. So maybe maybe if I don't have any of those things, I want input value to be none, and let me do it this way. Input value equals this, input value. So so I don't want to do it until this screen is actually done. Okay, so do it like that. So that way I'm not building up input values. So here we have so here's this and that. Paddle is at 20, ball's at 20. Now we go here. The paddle is at 19. The ball's at 20. Input value is 1. So hopefully paddle is at 19. Paddle is at 19. Input value is 1. Paddle is at 19. Input value is 1. Paddle is at 18. Input value is 1. Do I have this backwards? I might have it backwards. That would be embarrassing. So let's try this. Nope, that didn't help either. So read the position of the joystick with input instructions. Segment display game by breaking all the blocks. So, yeah, this is going to be thrilling to watch. When the joystick is tilted to the left, provide -1. If the joystick is tilted to the right, it's a segment display. Beat the game by breaking all the blocks. So somehow I need to beat the game. So clear. This seems. Let's run it. And you know what? I don't even want to show it because that takes a long time. All I want to do is do that. Step equals 0. Print step step plus equals 1. I can just keep track of that. So let's run this. And go and say so starting here, I get the ball is at 19, the paddle's at 21, so I want to go to the left. Ball's at 19, paddle's at 21, ball's at 19, paddle's at 21. And so I don't want to show all these steps either. What I want to do is I want to say if tile in tile.ball, so only if it's the ball or the paddle, then I want to, step and show all this stuff so that I'm not printing it all the time. And so let's see now. So I have ball is 19, paddle's at 21, no input value. Ball is at 19, paddle's at 20, input value. Okay, ball's at 20, paddle's at 20, input value went the wrong way. Ball's at 21, trying to catch up. No, it's still not trying to catch up. So why is the paddle still going left if the input value is okay, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with this computer because I feel like I'm providing it too many inputs and it stores them. But I think when I return a value, I'm just going to wipe out the inputs. And let's see what that does. Send to output. I'm going to say self.inputs.clear because I feel like I'm giving it too many inputs, and whenever I return an output, I just want to like ignore them. So let's try this and see what happens. Okay, so that seems to have fixed it, which is good. And beat the game by breaking all the blocks. So now what I want to do is what I want to do is say, let's say num blocks equals 0. And so while ball x is none, or tile equals tile computer, previous tile equals screen dot get xy tile dot empty. And so now what do I want to do? If tile equals block, num blocks plus equals 1. Is that what I called it? Num blocks and let's run this thing and see what happens. Okay, so let me speed this up by not printing let me do this. Score changed equals true. And so now I'm going to change this and say if score, it's going to get mad at me because for that indentation. So if score changed, and I don't need to keep track of steps, I don't care about that. I'm just going to print score. So let me do that, and just that way it'll only print when I change the score, which is maybe bad because I don't start printing anything. Right. It's definitely not inside this loop, which would have been the right thing to do. So now let's try it, see what happens. I probably should have just let it run the first time. It would have been faster. So, assuming this works, the idea is that I needed to play a game of Breakout, and I had the computer play it by just keeping the paddle on the ball, and it's taken a while. And I was reading the documentation for Advent of Code the other day, and it said, there should never be a problem that takes more than 15 seconds to solve, 15 seconds to run, even on a 10-year-old computer. But this one definitely seems to be taking more than 15 seconds to run. So either I've done something supremely inefficient, which I don't think, or that was lying to me. So it'd be cool if we could actually see the game, but we can't see the game. So we just got to wait and hope that it's doing the right thing. And, it certainly, it's not dying, so that's good. And that change I made was wiping out the inputs because basically, in a real video game, you're giving it inputs all the time. So you're like holding it to the left, holding it to the right. But the way my computer is written, it stores up all those inputs rather than throwing them away, which I think the intcode spec was a little bit silent on. But I always felt weird about that. And now I think what I really need to do is to, every time you return a value, just throw out that input because, boy, there's probably someone who like read the intcode and just like reverse engineered how the scoring works and is doing it that way, which is maybe faster than this way because it's taken a long time to get that last block. So how about the British election, huh? I don't know what to talk about while I wait for this thing to run. It's taken a long time. It's taken a real long time. And I don't see any real rhyme or reason to how much score it's adding each time. So we're just going to have to sit here and, watch it. Wonder if I should draw the board every, maybe that's the right, well, I don't want to stop it now, but just drawing the board wouldn't help. That would just tell me like what the blocks are. And let this go. Yeah. Down to 4 blocks. Okay. 3 blocks. I really hope I counted blocks correctly because that would be a real problem otherwise. Yeah, like I'm not going to be able to stare at the encode and make much sense of this, so I'm not even going to try doing it. 2 blocks. The thing is that, if you're playing real Breakout, you can sort of control where it goes by like where on the paddle you hit it. But here the paddle is 1 block wide, so you don't really have that kind of control. So that seems like it's basically deterministic. And 1 block, oh, so close. Just gonna start guessing. Oh no, because there's a minute waiting period. I was gonna say I'm just gonna start guessing scores that are like, it seems to be adding about. Oh no, that added 12. That added 80. Just super hope I don't have like an off by 1 error. That is causing this not to quit when there's really no blocks left. I mean, I guess I could always type that score in and see what happens, but okay. Uh-oh. hope that's the right answer. Otherwise, I screwed up. That's not the right answer. Oh gosh. Why did it return none? It returned none. Like, that's the part that's frightening to me. Because I'm supposed to print play breakouts. And end program, I'm supposed to return the score. So what could have gone wrong here? Uh, uh, I wonder if the program just ends on its own or not, but god damn it. So I need to run it again, and I can't remember how long it took, but basically I screwed up that edge condition and it quit as soon as the blocks went down to 0, but it before it got a new score, I guess. So let's try this again, and one of two things will happen. Either we'll get an end program and return the score, but before that we'll even print it. So now we're gonna have to wait another like 5 minutes to another 5 minutes for that to run. So I think I just got the ending condition wrong, and I don't want to do that. This way, either the program will really stop and then we'll return the score, which is fine, or it'll be in an infinite loop, but it'll print the score anyway, so we'll survive, which I think will be okay. So it seems like it's chugging along a little bit faster this time, or maybe the most of the time took was for the last few steps. So but it seems like it's going. What is your score after the last block is broken? 13, 12. I think this will be right. I would be surprised if it's not right, and I feel dumb that I got it wrong that way before. But let's let it. What was the wrong value before? It was. Maybe I cleared it, and so I don't have it to. Yeah, I don't have it. Down to 7 blocks, 6. So yeah, this is not really clean code, and I'm not thrilled with the way I had to hack my computer to wipe out the spec for the computer never did a great job of explaining the interplay between input and output, and so I feel bad that I had to go in and manually say, once it's time to output, just forget all the queued up input, because there's been other times I think where you needed to save the queued up inputs, or at least there was a phase and you fed it a phase, and anyway, the last 4 blocks are the last 3 blocks are the slowest 3 blocks. And of course we're doing this a second time. If it doesn't work this time, I'm probably not going to try it a third time. I'm probably just going to stop streaming and go to bed and think about it, because I'm tired. I'm always tired. Yeah, this is the super boring part of doing live streaming. 2 blocks to go. 11902. I mean, these numbers look familiar. I think these were what they were at before. And curious to see if it'll actually end the program after the last block, or if I just have to, take the score. And I think the way it's written is that I print out the score every time it changes, so I should have that score even if the program doesn't end. Okay, 11983. That was my wrong answer before. So hopefully I will get one more score after the last block breaks. And I remember this one taking a little while, where I was wondering if I had an off by 1 error, and I didn't, because it ended, but it ended wrong, so I made the edge condition wrong, and so now it's just has this while true, where it will run forever or until the program actually says I'm done, I'm stopping. And any moment now it will break that last block. If you've played Breakout, you know that the last block is the most difficult one to break. And very slowly getting there. That is right. So let us go here. And it said, and it actually did end. So it's 11991. So let's copy that. 11991. That is the right answer. 1 gold star. Clitzer Executing Santa, rank 755 on the Stars leaderboard. So we beat the Breakout game. It took a long time. Partly because it took me a long time to figure out what they're asking, partly because I made a stupid mistake, partly because my computer's pretty fast, but Python's not that fast. So anyway, that worked. So that's good. And thanks for bearing with me. Cool. Well, that's it for tonight, and I will stop, and I will maybe I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe I won't. I don't know.